want to thank you all for coming to our workshop tonight. So I was hard pressed to think of a title for it. Dr. Marcos said, so we need a title. And the first thing that popped in my head was, are you a lion or a sheep? Now, what's the difference between the two? You know, they sometimes say humans are animals in captivity. And our natural blueprint as a human was to survive and thrive. It was to do a couple of things. It was to find the right diet that fit our human existence. It was to move constantly, not sit around and watch TV. It was to have a great mental survival attitude. It was to get good rest. And it was to make sure that we had a proper functioning nervous system, because our nervous system controls and coordinates every function in our body. So that's the lion mentality. We'll call it that, you know, and some people talk about a lion diet, and we're not going to do that. We're just going to talk about the lion mentality. The lion mentality is the mentality of not a sheep in captivity on a farm that's led to slaughter, okay, that's fed antibiotics, that's put in a cage. But the lion mentality, and that's the mentality we want to get across to our patients here, is that you want the mentality to take charge of your health, to not be a victim. Now, how do you take charge of your health? It's very simple. Health is not a complicated thing, but it's something that we have to understand. So most people think health is not being in a hospital flat on your back, or most people think health is being able to show up to work. It's not. Health is 100%, and that's the important point right here, 100% function of every organ, tissue, and structure in your body. Not 100% function of my legs so I can walk to work, or not 100% function of my arms so I can lift and pull, but 100% function of every organ, tissue, and cell in your body. If all your organs, tissues, and cells are functioning at 100%, you die. Eventually you'll die, but you'll last longer, you'll survive, you'll thrive. You'll survive the elements. You'll survive the stressors that affect us. Eventually, we're all going to die. That's the law of thermodynamics, entropy. We're all going to break down. But if we can function at 100%, you know, things are a lot better. Now, somebody ultimately says, can we ever be 100%? No. But the closer we get to that, the better. How do we achieve a state where we're as close to 100% as possible? Well, number one, we want to eat right. What does that mean? Most people know what eating right is. The question is, do you love yourself enough to make those sacrifices? Good point, right? Do you love yourself enough to make those sacrifices? What does that mean? That means when you pick up a donut, okay, and you say, is this going to make me healthier or sicker? When you pick up a bag of potato chips and you say, is this going to make me healthier or sicker? We can go into all the details of why sugar is bad, why seed oil in the donut, why seed oils are bad, why flour is bad. We can spend an hour and a half, 2 hours doing that. But the easiest thing is we know what's good and bad. When we pick up that food, we say, is this going to empower me or weaken me? How do you feel after a big spaghetti and meatball dinner? Tired. All of our uncles were on the couch with their belts loose, falling asleep. Right? So, do we want a food that's going to empower us and make us stronger, or one that's going to make us weaker and tired? If we got too tired, we got eaten by prey. So we needed to be able to survive and thrive. And I'm going to throw those terms around pretty often, survive and thrive. We don't want to just survive, because we can do that with all kinds of medicines. We want to thrive. So the first thing, like we talked about, is diet. And that doesn't mean weight loss diet. Diet means proper food for humans. Now, if I ask somebody who has a dog, I say, would you give your dog a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Typically they say no. Why? Because that's not natural for a dog. A dog is a carnivore. They shouldn't be eating that. So what should we humans eat? Meat, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds. There's our diet. There's our diet. So, well, what about, can we have fruit every day and lots of fruit? Well, let's think back 1,000 years ago. We weren't getting fruit shipped in from Costa Rica every day, so we had fruit when it was in season, and when it wasn't in season, all gone, done. Now we had 9 months to recover from that fruit sugar. But fruit sugar is natural, right? Still sugar. And fructose, believe it or not, gets processed the same way as alcohol through your liver. That's a hard one for people to believe. They think I'm crazy, but that's the case with fruit sugar. So we want a diet that is meat, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds. And it works like this. Meat, till you're satisfied. Vegetables, till you're satisfied. Fruit, nuts, and seeds, very little. Okay? Next point. We got diet. What else? How about exercise? You think early man sat around watching TV? Absolutely not. Not because they didn't have TV, but they didn't sit around much. They were constantly moving. We were nomads. They'd move from one area to another area looking for food. The more we move, the more we activate our muscles. It's been said that from prime, and prime might be age 35, might be age 30, depends on, on the individual, but from prime on, we lose 1% of our muscles per year. So let's use 30 because it's easier math for me, but from 30 to 60, we can lose 30% of muscle. And then that's where you see people sort of fall into chairs. Or when they get up, they got to give the old heave-ho, 1, 2, 3, and they get up. You want to maintain muscle tone. The way to prevent losing 1 muscle per year is exercise. And does that mean you have to go to the gym every day for 3 hours? Not at all. There's simple exercises you can do. Ask us. We have a 7-minute workout. You'll feel like you were in a gym with a trainer for an hour. Okay, 7-minute workout. Works great. Okay, simple things. Countertop push-ups. Simple things, just keep your body moving. The last thing you want to do is sit for hours on end. And people say, wait a minute, I've got a job where I have to sit. That's not good. I wish I could just be really positive and say, well, not a problem. There's been studies done where you can increase, by prolonged sitting up to 11 hours a day, you increase all-cause mortality. That means death from any kind by 40%. It's a big number. So if you have a job where you're stuck sitting, get up. Every hour, every half hour, get up, move. Turn to your desk, do some push-ups. Just be active, move. Number 3, what else should we do? Rest. Proper rest. Don't fall asleep on the couch all twisted up. Try to go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning. Your body likes cycles, okay? We need a circadian rhythm, they call that. So you want to go to bed at the same time. Now, historically, if we talk about early man, when did they go to bed? When it was dark out. When they wake up? Soon as first light. Well, it depends on where you're at. It might start getting dark at 5 o'clock, and I don't think we want to go to bed that early. But, try and find a pattern where you can go to bed at a reasonable hour, get some good sleep. Well, what if you don't get good sleep? Ask us. It's either a problem where your nervous system is too active and you may need an adjustment. It may be a problem where nutritionally you might need a little more magnesium. There's many variables when it comes to this here that we can talk to you about. What's next? We got our diet, we got our exercise, got our rest. How about proper mental attitude? Okay, that's a biggie. Okay, proper mental attitude is real important because if you don't have a healing attitude, there's nothing that we can do to help you heal. Again, most people think you go to a chiropractor for back pain, neck pain, headaches, and that couldn't be further from the truth. The very first chiropractic adjustment was given for hearing loss. After that, it was heart disease. Mental illness. You had Spears Sanitarium, Clearview Sanitarium. These were hospitals designed to adjust people so we could improve state of minds. And they were treating everything from schizophrenia to depression. So chiropractic is much more than that. But in order for us to get those nerves flowing and get your body healing and repairing, you need these things. Okay? And especially a good mental attitude. You can't be in your own way. Well, how do you change that? I want to spend a few minutes on this one. This is a tough one. There's a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity, and I'll explain what that is. Imagine riding your bike through a pristine forest. Nope, not a forest. You'll run into a tree, and that's not a good thing. Imagine riding your bike through a grassy area, and you take that same path every day. Before you know it, you wore down the grass. Before you know it, you develop a rut. Before you know it, that rut gets pretty deep for your bike, and it's sort of hard to get out of it. Negative thinking is the same way. But the good news is positive thinking is the same way. If you force yourself to think positive, you force yourself to change the way you look at things, you force yourself to look at the blessings and the gratitude and everything that comes your way, before you know it, you can create a new rut, a new pathway that you're now stuck in. But it's a really good thing to be stuck in a rut that is a positively directed one of gratitude, one of counting your blessings, one of appreciation for life. Okay, so PMA is a little bit more than that, but we'll call it PMA. And then finally, proper nerve supply. That's why you're all here. Okay, proper nerve supply is what we do as chiropractors. Not about back pain, not about neck pain. Very often you'll hear me say to a patient, "Look, I don't care about your pain." And they go, "What do you mean?" That's why I'm here. We'll remove your pain. A good chiropractor can remove pain rather quickly and rather effectively. Chiropractic is phenomenal at that. A great chiropractor will transcend that point. When your pain's gone, chiropractic begins. A great chiropractor will then take you from that point and improve nerve function to every organ, tissue, and cell in your body. They say the difference between a great athlete and a legend is less than 1%. Think about that. What's the difference between normal human function and your ability to function at optimal, increase human performance, functioning at your best, full of energy, enjoying relationships, going for walks, being able to do those things that you want to do, that you imagine yourself doing, but you feel you can't get off the couch to do? That difference is very small. That difference just requires a little bit of these here every day, and before you know it, in a period of time, whether it's a month, whether it's a year, your body will transform. As chiropractors, our job is to increase that natural electrical energy that starts in the brain, travels through your spine, out to every organ, tissue, and cell. And if we can increase that just a little bit, your body functions better. What part of your body functions better? Everything. Immune systems. We've seen things from menstrual cramps, immunity, asthma, allergies, all improve with chiropractic adjustments. Now, that sounds like a bunch of movie. Well, it's not. We can actually do tests. We can x-ray your spine to see if it's lined up well. There is a normal. The normal spine has 3 curves to it. An inward curve, 45 degrees, an outward curve, 63 degrees, and a lower back curve, 38 degrees. If you deviate from that normal, you start to develop problems. Not just pain, but you start to affect that spinal cord, which lives inside those vertebrae. And you stress it, and you put tension on it. And now, instead of it being this cable that's transmitting electrical impulses at 366 miles per second, you get static. Nerve flow still gets to those organs, just not as well. Well, how do we know? We have 3 tests. Infrared thermography, heart rate variability, and surface EMG. We hook you up to a computer, we can evaluate the function of your nervous system. So now if we can pinpoint spinal problems biomechanically with an x-ray, if we can pinpoint neurological insufficiencies with these tests, and we can apply an adjustment, gentle, safe adjustment, not like you see on TV, pulling on these heads with Y straps and yanking and cranking, and give me a call, talk to me. That's not chiropractic. I'm not even sure what that is, but a specific adjustment designed to improve nerve function, improve healing, improve immunity. That's what we do as chiropractors. And we can then repeat those tests that we originally did and say, here's where you were, here's where you are, here's the difference. Now we're making a difference in people's lives with the adjustment. Doing these here, you're making a difference in your own life, very simply by following those principles. So, not a difficult task. They say how to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Little by little, we encourage you to help change, move towards a lion rather than a sheep, okay? Move towards a lion rather than a lamb, and I love lamb. Everybody who knows me knows that. But the lion part, that's the part where you're not a victim winding up at 65 years old with 7 or 8 different medications. That's not the way it's supposed to work for us. It's supposed to be no medications, full of energy, the end of a work day, standing with friends, standing with patients, being able to have fun, and then when we're all done and we shut down, we're probably going to hang out here and have some of that wine and cheese. I'd like to thank you all. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
That was good. That was good.